everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here 100 times, welcome to you too. Don't forget, like and subscribe. But, oh my goodness, this is, if you didn't notice, this is a yarn channel. I talk about yarn and knitting and crocheting and having fun and all sorts of wonderful things going on with my life related to yarn, knitting, and crocheting. Because you know what? That work stuff is boring. No one wants to hear about that, right? This is the fun stuff. That's what we talk about here. So I was working on making some squares. Where is it? Making some squares. You may or may not have seen this come up in your feed going, what is that? I'm making circles and then I'm turning them into 5-inch squares, and I'm going to be donating these to be made into blankets for Camp Boggy Creek. That's what the squares look like, right? I am having so much fun. I do have a tutorial out for this. I don't have many tutorials. I think I got 3 of them, but I do have a tutorial for this just because it's a spiced up square and you can do so much with it. Just a little bit more flair to it. So let me tell you the backstory. What I'm doing is I'm making all these 5-inch squares and I'm sending them, not all of them, let's not get crazy, but I'm sending them to Lynanne from Nina's Knots Crochet, and she is putting them together lovingly, skillfully, carefully, crocheting these together into wonderful blankets to be donated to Camp Boggy Creek, which is in Eustis, Florida. And if you've not heard about it, you're gonna hear about it a lot because it is ramping up. This is a camp that caters to very sick children, and it's a place where the sick kids can just be kids. There's a lot of videos on it. Lynanne has quite a few videos on it. So does Nancy from She's Got Yarn too. Bottom line is, the YouTube community is amazing. We are coming together and making tons of blankets. The goal is 2,025 in 2025. That is the goal. Last year was over 1,000 that were collected and given to this camp that the children get to keep. The blankets have to meet certain size parameters, 35 to 40 inches wide and 40 to 50 inches long, and washable, of course. And the kids can take them home as a memento of their time at camp, and that is wonderful. And that's where all of these bright, happy, fun squares come into play. Last year, Lynanne decided she would go ahead and crochet together squares for people who maybe they didn't want to make all the squares needed for a blanket. I think she uses about 45 or 42 of them to crochet together to make a blanket of the appropriate size. And that's a lot, right? So a lot of people don't want to do the whole blanket. Maybe finances is something, or time. I want to help, but I'll do 2 squares and that's it. So her thing was, get a padded envelope, whatever, send me a couple squares, price of a cup of coffee, I'll crochet them together. Well, that and then some other wonderful kind characters on YouTube threw out some challenges, and her inbox, her literal mailbox, not inbox, just exploded. She collected about 5,000 squares last year. She's still putting them together. She put like 19 together already this year. So she's working on them constantly. Well, what she's asking for this year, still 5-inch squares, but maybe 20 per person, and your brightest, your best, because she's got all these wonderful neutrals and these beautiful granny squares that people have sent, but she's already crocheted in a lot of the kid colors and things like that. So that's what she's wanting to go with. The neutrals is the bright chaos, just beautiful. And in comes me. Oh yes, this is my ballywick. I am all over it. I am having a blast. That's where I was talking about the circle squares like this. Those are so bright and fun. I've got another, I know I made, where'd the other ones go? They're all over. Oh, circles down. They're all over. And then not only that, where'd the other one? Oh, there it is. See, I had to do one with pinks and purples too, right? So I thought these were fantastic. And this, and with your other squares, oh my gosh, that's amazing. This is one of the new colors that Big Twist Value Yarn, something gecko, electric gecko, I'm not really sure, but it's their newer bright color. And this one is the slime green that was their super bright. I mean, it is super bright. And that's what my Imkin is made of, is that slime green on the outside here. And this is their safety yellow. It is a brand new yellow, and it glows and fluoresces on its own. So let me see, I don't know how many I have here. And then look at this. How fun is that? So I put a crocheted flower in the center, still did the circle, and then bordered that with a blue. Just fun, just something. The whole goal is, if a child, or if you think a child would like it, that's perfect. So I got a little bit, all right, let me play. This also falls right into, last week I started something, or at least talking about it. I didn't know if it was a weekly thing or not, kind of mindful makes. And what I meant by that is, put down the thing that, oh, you're supposed to finish this. Well, I can work on in finishing that. But sometimes there's days that you just want to dedicate to what you want to make, what you want to deal with. Now, granted, this is not my job. Crocheting and knitting is not my job. You would think it is, this amount of time and energy that I put into it, but it's not. I don't have deadlines except for self-imposed deadlines. So people who have shows and things like that they're going to, you're kind of under a crunch. I'm not talking about that. But for me personally, I wanted to step away from all my deadlines that I did. I wanted to step away from all my stress that I did, right? And work on the things that I wanted to. Last week, that was one of my sweaters that I'm making with Arcane Fiberworks yarn, and had a blast with that. This week, I haven't touched it so far. I've been working on squares. It's all I wanted to play with. You know, like, okay, well, I've done enough squares for the week. Let me work on something else. No, I don't want to. So that's all I worked on. Do you want to see another one that I thought was just so much fun? And it's that same circle to a square design. Look at this. How much fun is that? That is that highlighter yellow and the sapphire and the hot pink. These are all Big Twist value yarn, inexpensive, acrylic, washes well. How fun is that? So with that spiral, you could do, if you choose to, you could do red and green, and it's just, you know, like a peppermint candy, and then border it in some, or red and white, you know, and then border it in the green. And oh my gosh, wouldn't that be fun? So I thought this was amazing, just having fun with the colors. And I just carried the yarn in the back, and those aren't large floats, so that's not an issue right there. And there we go. So that's another one that I thought was fun. And then after I made that one, I kind of thought, what else could I do fun with that? Oh my gosh. And then after this one, I was thinking, do some with black and white. Maybe the spiral with the black and white, or another thought, and I haven't gotten to it yet because I haven't dug up my black and white yarn because I got all my neons and stuff. Do something like this with the 2 rounds, because a circle is only 3 rounds, and then you get 2 rounds of border. 5 rounds for the square. That's it. 5 rounds. But doing something like that, and then maybe make this like a black and white right there, that ring, and then this is solid and this is solid. Yeah, just having some fun with that. So I was having, like I said, a blast with the circle squares. And one of the things that I did not do that, you know, I should have, but again, I am not pressuring myself. It wasn't what I was feeling. I have these, and I have like 6 or 8 of these ready to be finished. Look at that. That is the Triceratops, and she is stunning. So I have a stack of them that I had last week too, that have, these all have the nose on them, that face portion right here, and then the nose. There you go. They all have that, but they need the other parts. They need eyeballs sewn on, and they need the other 2 horns. And I heard Lynanne talking about, people had already started sending their squares, and they use some sparkle yarn. I have not made the horns for this one. This is the sapphire, and that's the Big Twist value. But what I do have, look at this. What do you think? Do you think that one would be good? So it's still Big Twist. This is the Big Twist Twinkle yarn. Yeah, isn't that pretty? So it's the blue with the blue. They call it teal. Whatever, it's not teal, it's blue. But the blue with the blue sparkle. Do you think that would be pretty cool for the horns? I could do that. That would be nice. So glad I saw that. And then I also have, since I was having fun with those, I have a couple more. I started to get them ready. And what color of the things should I do for these 2? I don't know, because you've got this, where'd the finished one go? So you can see it. you've got this piece right here that gets sewn on. I don't know what color I should put for the white square, right? And then what color horns should I do? The nose right here, and then the horns. What color should I do with the blue and the white? So I was going to do the polar bears, but I was having fun making the triceratops and getting those already. So those were a lot of fun to do. And I've also got some flowers that I'm working on, some other ones. I think I just have the one right here. Yeah, I've just got the one right here, but I've got some other flowers in the middle of the squares and everything, just more dimension and more texture, and just having a blast with those colors, because that's what the kids are going to want. That's not all the kids, but that's okay. You know, this will appeal to a wide range of children and adults for that matter, because I was working on these with a couple of my friends earlier, and I had my bag of bright yarns, right? You know, I had that with me, and, you know, so I could just pick any color I wanted to. And I was making some of the fancier squares, some that take a little bit more time. They're all up here, by the way. They're there. You know, and I was having fun with that, and my friend was commenting, she's like, oh, I'd like a blanket like that. I would really like that. Those colors are amazing. And, you know, we're not children. Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. We're not the young peoples. And that was the comment of, I'd really like to have that for myself. I know last year when I was making blankets for Camp Boggy Creek, I had one that was this gorgeous hot pink, and then, you know, that slime green, this green right here, that one, and some black with it. And my oldest son and his wife were really wanting that. And truthfully, had I not already earmarked it to be sent off to Camp Boggy Creek, and to one lucky child was going to get that particular blanket, I would have been more than happy to give that to my son and his wife. But it was already claimed, and I mailed it off. And there you go. In my mind, I like to make up stories on the children's reactions when they get these, when they go into their cabin, and each bed, each bunk and everything in the cabin has a blanket on that, and they choose which bed they want, and they get that blanket, and they get to take it home at the end of their stay. I think that is amazing. So this is what I've been having fun with. I mean, how many of these things do I even have? I've got a stack of these. I have some more that I'm working on. I dropped some on the floor. You know, I got some that are in parts and pieces, like these aren't quite ready yet, you know, but I've been having such a blast, and I think I understood the assignment. The assignment is something that is kid friendly. Unleash your childish nature if you've got one. If you don't, you can borrow mine. I'm just saying, I got enough of what I got enough for both of us. We can do this together and make it. Like I said, I'll send the group and everything to Linan, the bright colors to go with all of her other things, because she does an amazing job. And then I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with the rest. That's all there is to it. And I've got other blankets. I don't have to send them to her. Some of the other things that I was thinking, I've got so much in my head, right? If I wanted to keep some of these, right, or just make more, putting some together, I wouldn't put these two together because, well, they're the same. I want lots of different colors and everything else. So putting them together, maybe do a row or something like that, and then crochet on top of that, and then add more squares, something along that line, to where the whole thing isn't squares, but then you can incorporate different textures and different stitches and different things like that. And nobody says you have to crochet, by the way. For everybody that here that knits and doesn't know how to crochet, you can do a knit blanket. There is nothing wrong with that. It's the size parameters and the washability that's the key. And if you only crochet and don't knit, don't worry about it, right? So there's both. I've got some blankets that I'm working on right now that are a combination. I knit the squares and I crocheted them together. So you can do it however you want to. I just like the fact that I can do both, and why not add it together? Why not be, just a little bit extra? Why not? It's just, that's the thing that I enjoy about this the most, is because there were so many YouTube content creators throwing out not a challenge. Oh, there are some that are challenging, by the way. There are some content creators, YouTube content creators that do have challenges, like make a blanket in a certain amount of time, make a specific pattern, you know, different things like that. And they have prizes. That is them. They do have those. Definitely follow all the hashtags, Camp Boggy Creek. I mean, it is a blast. So you'll find things that are fun like that. But for me, this isn't a challenge along that line. What it is an opportunity to unleash that child and be as creative as possible. And some of the squares that I'm working on, I'm going to continue to work on, they take more time, and that's okay. And some of them might be just a unique one of a kind, because it's like, wow, that was a lot of work. I don't want to necessarily do that again. But each one will be its own little unique art piece. You know, I do have some of those. And if you're interested, I'm probably gonna do it anyway. If you're interested, let me know. I'm looking at doing not just, this is the tutorial that's already out there, but making some other tutorials. This is not my pattern. This is from a book, so can't do that one because it's not mine. But I do have some flowers that I've done. I do have some other things along that line. I think for some people, it might be advantageous to have a tutorial showing exactly how I've changed colors, because I do know that changing colors for some people, if you've not done it or you're new to crochet or something along that line, that can be difficult. You're wait a minute, how do I do this? There are some tips, there are some tricks to get a more polished look to your patterns and your creations. And even with that simple mold, and I'll call it that, as a mold, this circle, right? This circle that turned into a square, that's all it is a mold. You can do tons of things. You can see that same circle is the base for that. That same circle is doing all of these fun things and flowers and designs and just everything. So I'm looking at doing some more 3D type things, some more things that kids can fidget with and play with, you know, something along that line to add a little bit more fun element to the blanket. Last year, I made a blanket, and the way the pattern had went, it was like a ripple. And with the colors that I used, it reminded me very much of a highway, a road, you know, just a meandering road. And I really, really wanted to sew these cars. Look at the cars. I wanted to sew the cars on there, but I asked, and they're like, no, we don't want any buttons sewn on. We don't want any of that. Okay, fine. That was the extra flair that I wanted to add. So this year I'm taking my time and I'm sewing on features. Yeah, so that's okay, right? No buttons, I get that, but I can sew on features. I can make things three-dimensional. I've got all sorts of ideas that I can do like that the children will like. I know that a lot of people have made blankets using bobble stitches. I like bobble stitches. Bobble stitches and popcorns, they give a great texture, a wonderful feeling, that nubbly feeling, you know, it's just absolutely fantastic. I saw one blanket where they used the bobble stitches to spell out words, and it was beautiful, absolutely stunning. So that's what I'm going with. Texture and color and vibrancy. If you have any suggestions or something that you think would sound cool but not sure how to execute it, throw it in the comments. Maybe one of us knows how. I can't guarantee that, but of course, but you never know, right? We're a talented group of people with a great imagination. That's all there is to it. We got lots of things. We can do it. So there's fun stuff. I'm having a blast. I hope you're having a blast too. I hope you take time in your day, in your week, set time out for yourself. If you're crafting, it is your joy. It's not a chore. And keep it as your joy. If it starts to get to a chore, change projects. It's okay. That one will wait for you. Just change projects. You'll be fine. All right, everybody. With that, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.